Welcome to George M. Steinbrenner Field, everyone. We'd like to welcome those viewing on the Yes Network and on MLB Network. I'd also like to thank the large group of people who hopefully carpooled from Orlando to take part in today's press conference. I know a lot of you were probably excited to leave the lobby of the hotel. I know Brian's been sequestered upstairs for better part of 48 hours, so I think it's nice to feel some sunshine and some fresh air. Hopefully it's going to be a little bit warmer on February 14th. I know a lot of people here who've been here for the last hour or two have been talking about it feels like spring training. You know, today's setting and the announcement that's really brought us all here, the re-signing of Yankees captain Derek Jeter, you know, whets our appetite for baseball, and it's closing in on us, believe it or not. As we begin, I think, you know, most of you have seen the press release that we put out, but, you know, we're here to recognize Derek Jeter, the player, and even though it's in the press release, I think it's kind of poignant to highlight it again. It's this stat that we uncovered where Derek has appeared in more Yankees victories, 1,379, than any other player that has ever put on the Yankees uniform. So as that fact sets in with you guys, I'd like to introduce the members of our dais. Starting to my far right, excuse me, Manager Joe Girardi, Yankees captain Derek Jeter, Yankees Senior Vice President and General Manager Brian Cashman. To my far left, Felix Lopez, our Chief International Officer and Executive Vice President. Of course, Jennifer Steinbrenner Swindle, General Partner and Vice Chairperson, and Hal Steinbrenner, Managing General Partner. Before we begin, there are a few people that are not on this dais that I'd be remiss not to mention because I know, in fact, that they wanted to be here. The first being Yankees President Randy Levine. He and Chief Operating Officer Lon Trost earlier today, as many of you may know, held their own press conference announcing the New Era Pinstripe Bowl in the Bronx. And as much as they would have liked to have been here, it's just the timing made it impossible. Also, Jean Afterman is unfortunately one of those people still stuck at the ranch in Orlando. She has taken off, picked up where Brian's left off, and she's basically manning the fort this afternoon. I'd also, before we begin, want to obviously mention and recognize two special people who are to my right, actually, a longtime representative of Derek, Casey Close, and of course his father, Dr. Charles Jeter. With all the introductions in place, again, thank you for being here, and I'd like to call Brian Cashman to the podium.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks for coming, everybody. I'd like to welcome Derek back to the Yankees. You know, he never left. You know, we didn't want him going anywhere, and I look forward to Derek speaking to that when he gets a chance to get up here. I want to thank the Steinbrenner family, you know, for their commitment constantly, you know, to provide us the opportunity to keep players like Derek here in the fold. This was a long negotiation, like they always are, and there's a lot of help on our end. You know, my assistant general manager, Gene Afterman, but obviously Randy Levine, our team president, Lon Trost. You know, a lot of people that got involved, work extremely hard with Casey Close, Derek's family, and Derek himself to be in a position to have this day come. This is one of the big agenda topics for, you know, this particular winter, and I'm excited that this one's, you know, to the point where we are now, where Derek can be introduced. So welcome back, and I'd like to call up our field manager, Joe Girardi, to handle the remaining portion of this. Yeah, before the player comes. Thanks.
Thank you for all being here. I had the honor of playing next to Jeter, coaching Derek and managing Derek, and he is a true Yankee. He embodies what the Yankees are all about: class, loyalty, championships, hard work, desire, passion for the game. And we're all fortunate that he's back. I think we were all anticipating this was going to happen. It was just a matter of when, and I'm glad it's over. And you know, I'm fortunate I get to manage a guy like Derek. You know, for me it's 3 years, but I know he's probably going to play a lot longer than that. But we're really glad to have him back, and I appreciate everything he does on the field, off the field, and in our clubhouse. And Derek Jeter, a great Yankee. Derek?
No, I've never had one of these before. It's, I guess it goes without saying, you know, this is the only organization that I've ever wanted to play for. This is the only organization that I want to play for, and this is where I want to finish my career. I've been vocal about that since day one. So I want to thank the Steinbrenner family for welcoming me back. I guess, like you said a little while ago, I don't know if you can really say welcome me back because I didn't go anywhere. But, you know, I appreciate it. It was my hope to have this in New York, but for other circumstances, we had to come down here to the warm weather in Tampa. So it feels good to be here. I will open this to any questions. I know there's a lot of questions out there. And, you know, I've never spoke on this situation, and look forward to answering any questions you have.
Derek, as this whole process unfolded, was there even one moment where you ever thought you were not going to be a Yankee again?
No, there wasn't, because, you know, I was vocal with you guys, I think, right here in this tent and beginning of spring training, and I said this is the only organization I want to play for. I said that at the end of the season. I said that in private meetings we've had with the Yankee organization, and I had never planned on going anywhere. I didn't want to talk to any other teams. I didn't want to hear from any other teams. I told Casey that. So this was a situation where this is the only team I ever want to play for, contrary to some other reports.
Eric, Casey spoke out a couple of times, and I'm assuming that's with your cooperation there. What level of frustration did you reach as these started? What Hal said at the beginning, it could get messy. They did get a little messy. How frustrating was that? Well,
I think that the thing that you know, if I'm going to be honest with you guys, the thing that probably bothered me the most was how public this became. You know, this was a negotiations. The negotiations were supposed to be private. So I was in an uncomfortable position. I felt that I was in. It was not an enjoyable experience, because I've you know, throughout the years I've prided myself on keeping things out of the papers and out of the media, and this turned into a big public thing. So that was something I was not happy about, and you know, I let my feelings be known. So this whole situation is when you talk about free agency, yeah, I never wanted to be a free agent. You know, it's the situation that I was in. And but yeah, if I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't angry at how some of this went.
You were photoshopped in the New York papers in a Mets uniform, in a Phillies uniform, in a Red Sox uniform. Now that this process is over, Derek, in your wildest imagination, heart of hearts, could you have ever imagined playing for somebody else?
Well, I've been photoshopped in a lot worse pictures than other teams' uniforms throughout the years, so I don't know if really that's that bad. But no, I said it, like I've said time and time again, I've never wanted to go anywhere. I can't stress that enough. You know, this is the best organization in all the sports. We have the greatest fans in the world, and you know, I'd never wanted to go anywhere else. So I know, you know, you talk about this being a negotiation. We understand it's a negotiation, but I wasn't negotiating with anybody. You know, it was just basically talking with the organization I wanted to play for.
You said you'd be lying if you said you weren't angry. Who were you angry at? Who did you express that anger towards?
Most angry at you, Sweeney. You know, it's really, I'm not standing up here. I'm not going to point the finger at anyone. You can see we're one big happy family now. Everyone's up here at the podium. I was more angry at the process and how it was portrayed, because, you know, there's a lot of things out there, and you know, I try not to read papers. I try not to listen to stories, but no matter how you look at it, you have family and friends that are filling you in. So I was angry at most how I was portrayed throughout the whole thing. You know, I've heard greed. I've heard all of a sudden now I have an ego and arrogance, and I don't think that was portrayed correctly, because this was a negotiation, and from my understanding of a negotiation is One side makes an offer, the other side makes an offer, and you try to come to agreement. So all these statements saying I have salary demands, and I'm in no position to demand anything. I mean, I basically said this is where I want to be, so what can I demand? It was just a matter of coming to an agreement, both sides, and that's the way I looked at it, but I thought it was portrayed kind of incorrectly.
Do you feel as if you have something to prove, considering where you took a pay cut? There's been some talk in terms of what the Yankees have felt in terms of how you might age. Do you feel like you have something to prove?
I don't feel like I have anything to prove because of that. Every year we go out, we try to prove that we have the best team in baseball, and that hasn't changed. Whether it's coming off of free agency or if I was in the middle of the 10-year deal I just played. You want to come and you want to improve every single year, try to help this organization win. So I don't feel like I have anything to prove to other people. I try to prove things to myself, and that's to continue to improve and try to help the team win. I have a lot of years left. A lot of years left to play in productive baseball. So I want to go out there and try to help prove that we have the best team in baseball. That's been my focus since day one, and that doesn't continue, and that will always continue.
Take Mark and then one or two more.
Derek, when you hear people publicly questioning your age and your recent performance, does that drive you to prove them wrong?
Well, criticism is a part of the game. I think, I've never shied away from criticism. I mean, you can. I've always taken it as a challenge. Yeah, I'm getting older, but so is everybody else in this room. You know what I mean? So I haven't met anyone that's gotten younger throughout the years. So yeah, any criticism that I've gotten, I'm criticized myself much more than anyone else. So I've always tried to get better and improve year in and year out, and that'll continue.
Is there one more? Swing.
Derek, you've always said you've never thought much more beyond the year you're playing in.
Mm-hmm.
Has this whole process and signing of his contract made you think about how much longer you want to play and how your career ends up, position, anything like that?
No, I've taken it year to year. I've always done that. I'm not able to tell the future. I wish I could, but I can't. I've pretty much taken every season with one focus, and that's to try to improve and try to help us win. And, I don't really look towards the end of a career when you're in the middle of it. And, I feel as though I'm in the middle of it. So I'll continue to try to improve, but I can't sit here and tell you what's going to happen years down the road. I wish I could.
Thank you, Derek. Okay, thank you, Derek, and again, thank you, everybody on the dais, for joining us and the media. This will conclude the formal portion of the press conferences.